Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of, or actually the first episode of Kidnapping Villagers, hosted by the Villager. Today we're going to be trying to capture some villagers. We're on our island here. We built a massive pit with a trick house, and I'm going to lure a villager over here and push him into the pit and try to move him back to my base. So let's see how that goes. And I realized that we already have a tunnel to get the villager from this island to my base, to the cave, but we don't have a way to get a villager from that island to this island to get them into the tunnel. So immediately, I'm just going back to my roots, and I'm like, I'm gonna build a glass tunnel in the water, like a tube, to get villagers from that island to this island. And after a little bit of scouting, I find the perfect place to build it. And I build it 3x3 wide, I decide, which is a horrible decision. This is going to require like 200 pieces of glass. So, decision making, maybe 1 out of 10. But in terms of aesthetics, this is going to be a 10 out of 10 little project here. While working on this project, though, I did learn that the underwater digging penalty, I think, comes from floating. So if you're standing on the ground underwater, you can dig faster. So that's kind of helpful to know. That speeds things up a little bit. I have been wanting villagers really bad to populate my other buildings, like the whales building. I want to just have some villagers over there, so I think this is worth it. It's gonna, it ends up taking a really long time. Anything underwater is just horrible, but yeah, I think it's worth it. Something I learned about a little too late into this project was there's a sponge block. I don't know where you find them, but they help you get water out of tunnels, and that would have been really nice to know about. I probably should have found one before doing this, but we like to work harder and not smarter on this channel. I did decide to take the artistic liberty of cutting most of the footage from building this bridge. I'm trying to, pare it down because this took a long time, and it's not that interesting, I feel like, to watch. And I feel like there's not too much to be said about it. But if you guys want to see like a underwater bridge building video or underwater tunnel building video in full 1 hour uncut glory, let me know. Maybe I'll build another one. By the way, guys, the sand that I'm using to make this glass for this tunnel is all coming from my failures digging for treasure, where I'd have to remove like an entire chunk of sand. So there's like a lesson, I think, like a life lesson. Turn your failures into glass tubes or something along those lines. After a very long time, we were able to form a complete connection from one island to the other and form a little stairway. And now the main issue we have is that connection is filled with water, which is nearly impossible to get out without a sponge. And I don't have a sponge. So initially I tried the water bucket method, and I think you would need, maybe this is theoretically possible, but you need like a Minecraft degree in water physics, which I don't have. So I just go with the dumb way, old-fashioned way, maybe you'd call it, which is walling off sections and then using the bucket method on these smaller sections. That's the only way that I can really figure to do this. I don't think there's a better way. Maybe there is. I'm sure there is a better way, but this is what I do, and I end up just walling off each individual section and removing the water like this. It's not that easy for the tunnel portion, unfortunately. I do have to just section off a portion of the tunnel and then fill that with blocks to physically remove all the water. And right here, I almost kill myself for some reason. Like, I block myself in. Adrenaline junkie? I don't know. Yeah, I got steel in my veins. That was the craziest clutch I think I've done so far. It ends up taking longer to get rid of the water inside of this tunnel than it took to build it. So overall, this was, you know, a curious use of time, but pretty cool. And of course, there is a creeper in the tunnel that I just spent like an hour building. One mishap with a creeper down there would be completely disastrous. And he's now just chilling on my island. I don't know, like, is there like a certain time that causes mobs to burn? Like, you can see the sun's out right here. And he is just chilling. He's not on fire. He's fine. So, I mean, what is it about the sun? Is it like noon and then they start dying? Like, I don't know. But it doesn't really make sense. Also, I think even though it'd be horrible, I feel like it'd be interesting if creepers exploded after they burned. Yeah. Don't hire me, Mojang. And looky there, got some lava on this island. Finally, we found some lava. Finally, I can get an infinite lava source. Man, what is this, 16th, 17th episode? Boy. Anyways, we are now looking for that village. I have no clue where it is. I have the coordinates, but I'm just going to try to Steve Irwin survival find it. See how that goes. I'm definitely not Steve Irwin. It takes a very long time to find this village, but I do find this weird dog. I think it's like a coyote, maybe, or something. I'll have to kidnap him at some point. I think this landmass is not an island. I ran around for quite a while and it kept going, so I think that's the definition of not an island, which is nice. It's nice to have a larger landmass, because I thought everything around us was islands, so this is super cool. Eventually I am able to find the village. I circle back and I decide I'm going to build like a path from the village straight to my tunnel so that I don't have to do that again. Yeah. And just like earlier, I'm like, well, I'll just go in the direction that I feel like the tunnel is in. And I go in the wrong direction, so this kind of just leads to nowhere. Oops. After kind of wandering around in the darkness for a little while, I just go back to the village because, you know, what am I doing here? And we do a little home invading on this channel. I just decide to break into one of the villagers' house so I can go to sleep. It's not like they really need to sleep that bad. And he does get on top of me. That's unconsensual. Yeah, we'll be taking him to villager court. But that'll have to be like a future episode. I haven't realized yet in this footage that this path leads nowhere, so I follow it to the end and it leads to this beach. There's nothing, but there are those weird black chickens, so I decide, you know, I'm already here. I may as well just grab some of these and head back. It's kind of cool. They lay like blue-green eggs. And I do have to resort to looking at my phone for the coordinates of my house. Gasp. I know. I'm extremely lost here. And I'm now looking after these chickens, so I can't just leave it up to chance anymore. Really, I'm just thankful I didn't find a variant of rabbits. That would have been a super nightmare. And that will be a super nightmare in the future, trying to gather rabbits. Because I think there's multiple types. I shiver to even think about that. But, you know, we do find some new chickens. That's pretty neat. And with this tunnel, I can also bring animals to and from my islands. So that's a good use. And instead of being a total dunce, I take a look at the coordinates of the tunnel entrance and the coordinates of the village, and then I just work back from there, because I am not good at navigating in Minecraft. This chasm here is so awesome. I really cannot miss building a bridge over this. That'll be so cool. And the village itself is not very good looking. There's a lot of strange topography going on. The roads are kind of messed up. Some of the buildings are a little weird. So expect a Pimp My Village episode in the future where I try to revamp that village and make it look better. And I kind of lied. I can't resist going back to the village and fixing some of the goriest parts. I mean, look at this nonsense. Oh, another fun little FYI is that these red bushes, I think they're sugar berries, hurt you when you touch them. So, as if there wasn't enough weird stuff to hurt and kill you in Minecraft, they've got this random plant that does that. So, yeah, that's great. And they've added this bell block to Minecraft, and when you hit it, all the villagers scramble. So it might be their MK Ultra get to work signal or something like that. And this villager's a little bit more respectful. Yeah, or not. I'm taking you to court, buddy. Look at him run. After doing some very basic village maintenance so it's not a catastrophe, I'm back to working on the path. I'm just making it a little bit more well-defined. I'm also taking care to make it not too well-defined. I want it to look kind of barely used up until you get to the village. And I'm not working on that bridge this episode. I'll have to do that in the future. I think in a way, making paths in this game is therapeutic. It's really relaxing. I like the sound it makes. The shovel is fun. You know, it's one of my favorite parts of Minecraft. So relaxing. Anyways, I get back to making the path, and I make it kind of choppy towards the village, and then whole when it reaches the village itself. And after I finish with that, I decide that I'm going to spruce up our little tunnel down here and add a wood floor, like a fancy pattern wood floor. I think this is pretty cool because there's a deep hidden meaning in this floor. On the little island, we're using oak wood. And then on this island, this massive landmass, there's a bunch of spruce. And our pattern is going from oak to spruce. Whoa. Pretty deep and thoughtful. Unfortunately, I was not able to kidnap any villagers in this video. I even dressed up as a villager because I thought for sure this is the episode where I'm kidnapping villagers, but that's just not happening this episode. Thank you for watching. That's going to be the end of everything here. Tune in next time for me slaying the Ender Dragon. I'm back to that. Next episode, we're getting him. He's done for. See ya.
Looking at the wolf, I bet I'll give his ass a bone. Looking at the witcher, first I gotta mine some stone. Abandoned mine shaft, sipping potions all alone. Triple-headed wither with the mind of his own. Cherry red redstone, XP is for my character. All black obsidian, Steve's shoes leather.